there's some good news in the umpire world. Tripp Gibson's April 23 home plate performance was literally incredible. And I've got the graphic right here. I'm going to pull this up, Brad. Check this out.
Sweet. Oh,
Oakland
nice.
versus Texas. Oakland lost 2-5. No duh. Tripp Gibson, it was a Sunday. Tripp Gibson's overall accuracy, 99%. The expected average, accuracy average was 97. So he way outperformed himself. His relative accuracy was, again, in the positive, almost 2 points above expectations. Overall favor was only 0.66 runs in favor of Texas. And in a game like this, it's versus the Athletics. I think that's all negligible. His overall consistency was 97%. His average has been 94. Or is that a league average? I can't remember.
A league average is 94.
That's right.
So you look at those impactful calls. This is the thing that's crazy to me is bottom of the first, you've got at the top of the zone was a strike that was called a ball. And then the bottom of the second on the outside corner of the plate, outside edge of the zone was called a ball. And that one, I don't want to call it egregious, but it was definitely on the plate. It was called a ball. But in the bottom of the second, you're not too worried about it typically, especially with one out and the base is empty and an 0-2 count, right? Not that big of a deal. And that one at the top of the zone, one out, runners on, first and second and three. So that loaded up the bases, but still, like, you're not super fretting that because that's a borderline call. That ball barely touched the zone. So you're kind of like, okay, maybe up a little bit, but not super bad calls that he missed. I mean, I think most people would kind of roll with it, especially given that situation in the bottom of the second, kind of like, all right, 1-2.
Yeah. Out of 101 called balls, only 2 were actually strikes.
Yeah, those
two Brad has told
That's
you about.
crazy.
Out of 44 called strikes, all of them were actual strikes. He never missed a strike call the whole game.
And that to me is the big deal.
Yeah.
That's the one, is because calling balls strikes messes with hitters' heads. And I know people, you got to adjust the zone, whatever. But the strike zone, it says in the rules what it is, and the plate is the plate. It's not relative. It's not subjective. It is what it is.
Yeah, I agree. The zone is the zone.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so here's my question, Brad. This is obviously an outlier situation.
Right. Yeah, very much so.
Every time you get a one-off, you have to think, okay, was this just a really good day? Same with pitching, right? You're like, is this just a really good day or something else going on? You have to ask that question. And the way the baseball is being played today, it's unfortunate, but we do have to ask that question. My initial thought was, wow, good for him. My very next thought was, did they sneak a robot umpire situation into this game?
Maybe. I don't think they did, but they could have. Remember a couple years ago in the playoffs, the umpires were really good. We were like, are they like sneaking these robot umpires in here? Because, and that's the problem though, is that umpires and their zones should be good enough that shouldn't be the first thing we ask when they do a good job.
Exactly.
Like, are they getting some help here?
That's what. So therein lies the problem, right? That the rest of the league seems to have a serious problem. Enough of a problem that when one guy does a great job one time, we are not willing to trust that it was a great thing. We want to celebrate that it was a great thing, but we can't trust it. And I think that is a big problem.
It is.
Okay, so I have a follow-up question. If in the future, let's say at the end of the season or maybe at the All-Star break or whatever, they came out and they say, all right, it's probably going to be at the end of the season. They say, okay, remember this instance and this instance and this instance, when those umpires did a great job and everybody was really excited about it. Well, guess what? We used robot umps those days and you didn't even notice, right? I don't think they're going to do that. But let's just say in some Orwellian situation that happens in November, that's what happens. And Manfred gets out there and he says, neener, neener, boo-boo, I told you this is a great idea. See, I promise. And I proved it in low leverage games. Okay, is it a bit of a conspiracy theory? Yeah, I got that. I understand that.
You forgot your tinfoil hat, Brig.
I'm reaching a little bit here, but at the same time, I do think it's interesting. And if, as fans, that were to happen, Brad, what would your reaction be?
I mean, I've been saying for years I'm okay with the robot umpires. So on one level, I'd be like, awesome, great. See, yeah, it's awesome. It works.
Yep.
Nobody ever noticed even a difference aside from the fact that they were really, really good. But the problem that I do have is with transparency. It's like, okay, so what else are you lying to us about? Are the baseballs
That's it.
really juiced again?
Mhm.
Are
Are there
we
really three
are,
kinds?
yeah. Are we doing some other stuff behind the scene that we're not letting the fans know about that's messing with the game?
Yeah.
That's are we fixing games? Maybe. Hard to
Maybe
fix a baseball game,
organically.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
was that's exactly what I was worried about.
That's the big issue is that it
Yeah.
it raises more questions than it answers and causes more problems than it solves if they were to do that. So
Yeah.
that's really what it comes down to.
Get out of my head, mister.